Welcome to Group 3. We have 6 members. Today we will talk about petroleum modern history of oil on a map. Petroleum or crude oil is a fossil fuel. It is a result of organic matter transforming into hydrocarbon over millions of years. Generally buried in the form of a deposit, crude oil sometimes appeared on the surface of the earth, which is why it has been known to man since ancient times. Around the world, oil was used as sealing material in construction and for medical purposes, but it's only in the middle of 19th century that its consumption would explode. Europe and North America is the midst of individual revolution have rapidly increasing energy requirements that are mainly met by coal. Interest in oil intensified throughout the world. From the Russian Empire to Europe to North America, the first modern drilling location. In the United States, this causes a rush of black gold and the country becomes the largest oil producer in the world. Initially, distilled oil replaced the burning of well oil in lamps. It offers a better calorific value than coal and is easier to transport than gas. Oil consumption raised in the early 20th century, especially in fuel of transport. With the development of the automobile, the rare conversion of ship engine, and the aviation boom during the World War I. Crude oil, when extracted, is reaching in a refinery to separate the hydrocarbon needed the lighter molecule and imparted to the top of distillation column where the temperature is around 220 degrees Celsius. Liquefied petroleum gas are harvested and used among other things in lighter and in kitchen. Between 30 and 105 degrees Celsius, gasoline for cars is produced. Between 105 and 160 Celsius, naphtha is created, used in petrochemical industry to grease, plastic, synthetic, textile, drugs, and cosmetic. Crude oil was transported in barrels with a capacity 42 US gallons or slightly less than 159 liters. The barrel thus became the unit for setting oil prices.
Oil recoveries. More and more oil deposit recovery are made worldwide, including in Venezuela, which became the second largest global producer. In the Middle East, where Britain is present, Western companies seized the new market, giving a portion of the profit to local countries through royalties. During World War II, demand for oil skyrocketed and resources became the major international issue. At the end of the war, the United States signed an alliance with Saudi Arabia, guaranteeing security of the country in return for real access to its oil. Nationalism. Western companies dominating oil market contribute to nationalist movement in produced countries. In Saudi Arabia, an agreement is signed allowing the country to receive 15% of oil profits. In Iran, negotiations with the Anglo-Persian oil company failed. Following with the Prime Minister nationalized the country oil In response, the US and UK secretly organized a coup to overthrow the Prime Minister. The Shah of Iran remained in power and then allowed the exploitation of oil in the country by the consortium of Western companies. In the USSR, discovery of oil fuel in the Western Siberia pushed the country to invest in its exploitation. OPEC, plentiful and cheap oil overtook coal to become the primary source of energy in the world. So far, its price remains below $3 a barrel. Five major oil producing countries decided to unite to derive more benefits. They create OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Together, they want to counter the dominance of Western companies, to increase oil price, and have a common policy. The organization would produce be joined by new nations.
This game also to go to lose way and improve speak English, and Katie Chelina has rare resolution and don't dismiss. We take it easy, then to learn and Spanish and Italian, and find my least love. The last one will be the more difficult cheating. Rafa anti main goal in the finest high school and get into the university. Laura was respond to Oputa Price say, I am going to the get married and finish my undergrad student with good result, and Emma Jurist is ready for the next step this year, a master degree. Henry Berman has in a resolution be more the mentioning before the my time up on the earth, and Harry has the advice for the author have a full serious in life. Danny and Perigons had fun the by lying with the video game the fire of the again and Dota. Danny and say, my New Year's resolution is I want to spend more time and my studying and play Dota. Rescue data. The resolution is not to be lazy about student anymore and not Chinese face say I want to be better my national examination to be the private and to take a scholarship abroad. Sarah Resdinka offer rich comment my selection to part the volcano school and scholarship and visit Singapore and Malaysia, and Sita Priha eating the of Australia in the 2012. I wish I could have a query about in my dreamland of Oasis. And let's see, as I am optimist, I'm going to make each release year for the way I speak English.
Inquiry in participation. On September 11, 2001, the United States became the target of a major terroristic attack on its territory. 15 of 19 terrorists were soldiers, rising government concerns. The U.S. actually seek new south to reduce oil dependency on the Saudis. In Africa, production accelerated after the discovery of latter of struck few of the Gulf of Guinea in the Middle question if the United States invaded Iraq under the protest of its war against warrant of mass destruction. A few years later, the country's oil would be by other international market. Iran, for its part, opened its market to new rising Asian powers, such as China in Iran. The Bhutan supply of oil in the world stimulated the economy around skyrocket. Many in American countries in the Asian world were traders speculating on red gold, which is rise to the of the world, but the financial crisis of 2008 would cause a sharp drop in price Venezuela over for a few years. Discover it hold the largest canal oil reservoir in the world, putting it ahead of Saudi Arabia.
Rival. The fastest the biggest oil consumer in the world become bigger producer. Recently, Saudi allies. Saudi Arabia then want to make the production of the unconventional oil profitable by dropping price. To achieve this, Saudi Arabia pursued efforts to block the oil market. The price of the barrel drops, making oil production barely or sometimes not at all profitable. But the oil industry of the United States resists and continue to increase its production. Pollution, with oil abundant and cheap, with the consumption continue to rise and approaches 100 million barrels per day. 2/3 of the oil used in transportation industry is the main emitters of CO2. In the maritime sector, heavy fuel oil used by ships emits 3,500 times more sulfur than diesel fuel, causing severe air pollution. The United States and Europe rest by Britain zone where heavy fuel consumption is prohibited. Since the beginning of the modern era of oil, many oil spills cause major environmental damage, with the Niger Delta probably being the most affected region with 60 years of oil spills lagging in north. Thank you.
Australia undergo its abolition begin 5 recent years with a large fiscal deficit. All these countries and are forced to appeal to other producing countries together by boosting in the price of oil. They include Russia, the second largest oil exporter in the world. The United States in contrast continue to increase production to keep price low and to support growth and the economy. The country eventually become the largest oil producers in the world. The future. Why IPCC is sounding the alarm and call for the drastically reducing CO2 emissions to limit global warming. We have substantially found enough oil to carry on for at least another 50 years at a set rate. Saudi Arabia knows this of diversifying its investment to repair the bowl oil area. Iran, which had the third largest oil service in the world, suffers in 2018 from sanctions imposed by the United States as choking its oil shells. In Venezuela, the country is caused by the lack of rain and the country never really benefits from huge deserts. Political instability could potentially impact in both recently many Burmese, China, and Russia. Meanwhile, oil companies remain among the most powerful entities in the world. In 2017, five of featured in the list of global top 10 companies with the highest turnover. The International Maritime Organization imposed the rapid cooling reduced sulfur emission goal for vessels by 2020. This could for in industry to abandon heavy pearl or in favor of other hydrocarbon with many parts of its demand and price. Its rise of the parallel increase in the exploitation of unconventional oil and restart which the news fire. This includes areas such as actin and which polar cap melting it made it possible to explore new areas potentially rich in oil.